cracking question. If you source a property, what's to stop your investor not paying you the sourcing fee deal that you're due? Well, I got such an easy answer for you. Your contract, your legal contract. So in our legal contracts, which by the way, and this is not an advert, it just is reality, are on my website. You can download them. I've got the legal contracts with the marketing brochures and I've put them together for you because, do you know, I don't want you scrabbling around like I did. It cost me a couple of grand, so grab them. In our legal contracts, if we have presented to an investor a deal, and they buy it within the next 12 months, basically they finagle round and try and buy it to cut you out, they legally have to pay us the fee. Dead simple. And if they don't, what do? We small claims court them. Dead simple. Really easy. I mean, obviously what we do before then is we talk to them, we'd remind them, And we've had two. So we did 217 deals. Now, quite a lot of those deals I kept myself. So we've had two. So less than, over 1%, but because quite a lot of those deals I did myself. The first, and I'll never give names because I think it's actually rude to shame people on social media. The first was we were going to auction with a certain person. It was a lady, so that's all I'll tell you. We were going to auction. We actually had it agreed pre-auction. So it was agreed and we were going to take it out the auction, and we'd said to her, look, we've got this agreed. Do you want to come in this deal? Yes, she said, I'd love to. We'd already sold her a couple of deals already. So she was getting the hang of Bristol. Yeah, I'd love to, she said. And then half an hour later, I mean, she wasn't even really well thought out. Half an hour later, the auction house phoned us and said, oh, we can't tell you who it is, but we've had another offer and it's £500 more than your offer. So first off, to put an offer in half an hour later is like, come on, it's really obvious. At least like, I don't know, wait 2 days or something so it's somebody else. And then to put, and obviously the auctioneers are not publishing to everybody what the offer is. So to put it in 500 exact pounds more, it's blooming obvious it's our investor. But the auction house again is quite, well, they have to be. They're not allowed to tell you who their potential buyers are. So we knew it was our investor, and so we phoned the person up and we said, oh, we've had a bigger auction, and at that point I was never going to work with them again. But you can't prove it's your investor. So we phoned them up and said, oh, it's had a bigger offer, so the deal's off. And we didn't say we'll go higher with you. And she was like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah, really. Thinking, I'm never going to work with you again. I know it's you. I can't evidence it's you, but 100% it's you. And then what was really interesting, the auction house, because we'd done deal after deal after deal, and here is the benefit of you being head of a deal sourcing or deal packaging business, because you've got consistency, regularity. She was a one-off. The auction house turned around to us and said, look, the person selling the house really wants to get this sold, and we've told them that you are reliable. We've no idea who this person is. To our mind, they're not reliable. We might have suggested that it was our investor trying to cheat us, and therefore we've advised the seller to go with you, and that's what happened. So bless her cotton socks, by being a little monkey, she lost out on a cracking deal. I never worked with her again. I told a few people privately who she was so that they wouldn't work with her because I didn't want them ripped off. And another investor got that wonderful deal. So that does happen. And then the other one, cheeky monkeys. I have less giggles about this one because they tried harder. It was a really super deal, sold it on, and then, funnily enough, it was nicked from us by an investor. So I was like, I'm sorry, you know, we presented this to you. You've tried to get round paying the sourcing deal. We're not having that. Don't be a, nin. So then the person tried to get a bit threatening, which often, by the way, when people are caught in a lie, it's a bit like kids, isn't it? They either go, oh, sorry, Mum, it was me eating the ice cream and the ice cream's dribbling down the face, or no. You're like, I can see the ice cream. No, don't know what you mean. And that was this. So I'm laughing now, but I was pretty damn cross at the time. So they continue to go, no, not me. And I'm like, look, so-and-so, it was a bloke this time, you're trying to rip us off, stop it. You know, it's rude, it's embarrassing, you're not doing yourself any favours. Because to be honest, I'm quite well connected and I'll let everybody know quietly without doing it on social media. But I don't threaten people. And then they started to say, oh, we think you're blah, blah, blah. I can't remember what they were doing. But, you know, they were trying to say, I'm going to report you to... And you're like, no. And here's where you need to make sure your compliance is in place, your processes is in place, your member of an ombudsman is in place, because when somebody's caught, they're either going to fight or flight. And these guys tried to fight. So they started throwing crap at me and it was like, no. And then they even said, no, we didn't actually receive the deal information from you, so you can't prove it. Well, wonderfully, our text release system reports when it was read by the investor. So all I did was say, at X time, X minute, X second, you read it. And here is the report from our service. And at that point, they acquiesced. So that was a bit ruder. The first one was amateur. The second one was trying hard. You know, what do they call it? A thingy glove. I've forgotten what. You know, the glove in a velvet. A punch in a velvet glove. And I thought that was incredibly rude because they knew what they were doing. Whereas she was just amateurville. You know, whereas they were like, from the start, let's just try and get this deal and avoid. And in the end, they had to acquiesce. But it got a bad taste in the mouth. So, but frankly, although I'm telling you a couple of stories and, you know, their names are burned on my mind and, you know, I would never privately give them a good report. If anyone had said, hey, what about so-and-so? I'd be like, nope, thieves. Because they are. The reality is it's less than 1%. So although it's a fear for you when you're starting a deal packaging business, what if my investors run away from me? If you are compliant, if you've got the paperwork, if you've had them sign the legal documentation, which is why I strongly suggest you go have a look at ours. Even if you change it, it's a really good starter for 10 for you because it's been tried and tested by naughty monkeys like those. Then you're solid, aren't you? And, you know, 1%, 2% of tenants are a bit frustrating. 1 or 2% of investors are also a bit frustrating, which does mean that 99 to 98% of people are wonderful to work with. But it just means that you're covered for the back end. And then the final part I'd give you advice is keep a sense of humour in property. You could tell I'm laughing about those two. I mean, at the time, particularly in the second case, I felt very annoyed. I thought it was rude. I knew the person quite well. I felt and it was clear it was on purpose. But now I just laugh about it. And the faster you can bring in comedy and humour to all the glitches and you know, speed bumps and banana skins that fool you in property, the faster you'll enjoy property more and just go, oh, you're being a numpty, aren't you? Because there will be glitches like this. People will try and push and shove a little bit. Not often, but they will at times. And if you can just sort of, with grace, say, well, you're not going to impact on my day. You're just being a bit of a silly wuss, so we're not having that. Stop your nonsense. And then obviously immediately put them on your veto list, immediately move them out of your circle, and immediately decide never to work with them again, because you have the power of choice, which is the joy of property. So, how do you prevent investors not paying you for a package deal? Contracts. Really simple. And our contract, which you can get from my website, says if you buy a deal that we presented to you in the preceding 12 months, you have to pay us. Simple. Good luck. Like the video. Share it with a friend who's maybe struggling with this particular problem, or maybe struggling with setting up a deal packaging business and making sure they do it right. And also hop onto the website. It is thegoodpropertycompany.co.uk, and I have chocked it full of cracking information for you. You can download straight away. Wish you luck. All right, if you want to know more about raising private finance, over here you can click on and download immediately my fundraising pack. It is stacked full of everything I use to raise millions of pounds. Well worth downloading now.